Thank you.
Congratulations, live final.
Yeah.
5th place. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. 2 questions.
OK.
Why did you decide to go in? And did you have a game plan?
Actually, the reason I decided to go in was my best friend had literally just passed away earlier this year, and I had a magical hour with him the day before he passed, and he said to me, life is short, obviously, and just, you know, grab life by the horns, smash it to pieces, say yes to the crazy things, and literally, like, you know, a couple of weeks after that, this came in. I was like, well, I guess I have to say yes then, don't I? So, you know, I had him in my head the whole way through. Amazing. And that is, honestly, the reason that I ended up
And did you have a strategy?
I didn't. You know, I really wanted to just go in and be me, which is exactly what I did. You know, I didn't think about the game of it at all until I got in there and I realised, oh, there is actually a game here, isn't there?
And there's obviously a lot of outside external forces that you're dealing with, like other personalities and things like that, you know.
You mean the other housemates?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because, I mean, in the beginning, Mickey Rourke, who made great television...
Yeah.
You know, but when you're seeing some of that unfolding, it must have felt like, oh, OK, this is... I wasn't expecting this.
Well, I certainly wasn't expecting Mickey Rourke. That was... What do you say about him? I mean, he was asleep on the couch right at the foot of my bed for pretty much the whole time, snoring like a horse. And he just, like, he got all of his clothes and just dumped them on the floor, and a lot of the time they ended up on my bed. I mean, he just had no regard for anyone.
He wasn't doing anything himself.
No, I think he literally, that's how he lives. But it's weird, I was conflicted with him because... You know, he is a lost soul, like a lost little boy. Obviously, a lot of the things he did and said in the house were unforgivable and not OK, and he had to go. But there was another side to him. So Danny and I felt the same way. We kind of were trying to befriend him and trying to kind of figure him out. But, you know, in the end, it was just too much, really.
How were the other friendships in the house? Because I know you found it quite hard when it came to the nominations.
I hated
we
the
had
nominations.
Trisha here a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
She wasn't too impressed.
I know. Trisha and I are good mates. We, you know,
You've got to nominate somebody, though, haven't you?
You have to. That's the worst thing. You're clutching at straws. Because the truth is, everybody in there was a kind, warm-hearted, supporting friend. And it's just an unnatural thing to have to go into a room and say something that... a reason to nominate someone. It tore me up. It really did. As somebody who's like a good guy, a nice person, he's like, you don't do that to your friends, do you?
No.
And so, yeah, I found that really hard. I really did. And I felt terrible nominating Trisha. And the truth is, my reason for nominating was that, you know, that her stories were quite long-winded. And but they were brilliant. And I loved spending time with her. And I would never have said that if it wasn't for the fact that I had to.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, when I came out, she was like, I forgive you.
Yes. And obviously, you probably wouldn't have realised when you were in the house, but a lot of the coverage was about Chris and Jojo, and they were, you know, on This Morning, talking about and they very much parked it in the friendship zone. But were you surprised by seeing all of that coverage when you came out?
Yeah, obviously, when you're inside the house, you have no idea how it's being perceived, how you know, the press are kind of picking up on certain stories. I kind of gathered that maybe they would pick up on Chris and Jojo, but just because every time they got into bed together, all the cameras went, you know. And so I kind of guessed that there was something there. But, you know, the truth is, me and Chris and Jojo were really tight, actually, the three of us, because our beds were very close. We spent a lot of time together. I got on so well with Jojo and Chris. My experience of that relationship was just that they were a support for each other.
Yeah,
you know?
friends.
And it was really nice to see it kind of, you know, materialise in that way. And I think that they both were very comfortable with each other, obviously. I always thought that it was platonic, you know, and you know, perhaps it is. I don't know. It's not for me to say, you know.
I wanted to ask you, because obviously you opened up about having drug and alcohol issues after being dropped by your record label, because obviously you had the big hit that we've heard there, and it was tough. And your image sort of back then was quite sort of squeaky clean. And you've got this new album out, Living Arrows, and the track 13 is about being abused when you were 13, and obviously you're opening up about this, and it's a very serious topic. Do you feel relieved now to be at an age where you can just be open and not have to be this sort of like pop star that nothing's ever happened to?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, really. You get to a certain age and you look back on things that happen in your life. I've been treating songwriting as a therapy my whole life. We've written songs together.
We've written songs together.
I know.
Quite a few years ago.
It was a while back in the
It's so
early
nice.
Hearsay days.
Yeah.
To Head and Miley and the guys in the studio. Look. Isn't that amazing?
Oh.
So, so for me, this album, I've looked at stuff that I had to deal with, you know, and songwriting is a therapeutic, cathartic thing for me. And it's tough, it can be painful when you kind of revisit these things like that. But
Brave.
But it helped me move past those things.
Yeah,
for sure.
and it's powerful, isn't it? To be able to express vulnerability and to just talk about things.
Well,
it's
what's
powerful.
happened now with these songs out there's songs about loss, suicide, abuse. You know, it's not what you'd normally expect from a Chesney record, maybe. But the reaction that I've had from people on social media and just messages coming my way have been beautiful. You know,
It's because you're a lovely man. I spent a couple of weeks with you in Portugal, and you're
Yeah, we
really
did,
a
didn't we?
genuinely lovely man.
Oh,
Well, fantastic. Well, we've really enjoyed you in Celebrity Big Brother, and thank you very much for coming to talk to us today.
My
and your
pleasure.
new album, Living Arrows, is out now. Chesney Hawkes, everyone.
Thank you, guys. To see that picture.